Hello and welcome. I'm Chris, and this is my second video on the sort of Photoshop Pixlr aspects of the awesome air hockey project. In the first video that we did, we kind of made a background which was not dissimilar to the one that you can see here in this preview. We basically added some coffee stains and messed around with it. We put a piece of paper on a desk, and we drew a really crude sort of field over the top of it. You can go back and edit it a little bit. I'm pretty sure that the one I've drawn here is a lot better than the one I drew earlier. But yeah, it's up to you. You can mess around with it however you like. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to make these two sort of erasers or rubber sort of paddles, and we're going to make the scrunched up ball. And the reason we didn't do this in the last video, I think because the video is just kind of getting a bit long, so maybe this is a slightly shorter episode. I don't know. The software that we're going to be using is inside of the browser again, and this is called Pixlr. If you didn't see it before, it's like a free web-based version of like Photoshop, except it's not Photoshop, but basically looks identical, and you can use it inside of a browser. So I'm going to click launch, and that should bring us up. And now what it does is it has on this side here, if I didn't have ad block on it would have some silly adverts on there, which is stuff that they want you to buy. Oh yeah, it is made by Autodesk, so thank you Autodesk. And then what I'm going to do is, because I'm doing a video, I'm just going to resize this window until you can't see the advert anymore, and it's kind of off the side. Okay, and then I'm going to click, actually I don't need to do any of this, yeah. The parts that I want you to do, or want you to find, is for this tutorial you need to find an eraser or a rubber, and it needs to be from a proper straight like bird's eye view, look down view. Alternatively, you could maybe have like some other stationary sort of object here for like maybe a sharpener or something of that kind of equal size. The good thing about using an eraser is you can size it or rescale it, and it doesn't make it look too weird. Whereas if you're doing a sharpener or something else, it kind of would look odd a little bit quicker because there are certain ratios and aspects to them. Alright, and then the other thing is find yourself a scrunched up ball, piece of paper, which you're going to use as the puck. What you could do is, for any of these things, is if you've got your own stationery, you could take a picture of it and say have like a piece of paper behind it. So if I was going to do this pen here, then you can basically put it on a desk like this, obviously without your hand in the way, and then snap a picture of it, and then sort of crop it all out later on in your chosen editing tool. So I got this rubber, so this is the first one I'm going to do. So this time I'm going to open, and I'm going to select my eraser, and I'm going to click open again, and basically it comes in at quite a big size. So my one is 900 pixels by 900 pixels, which is, to be perfectly honest, is probably bigger than the size of our game. So first of all I'm going to do the first step, which is I'm going to unlock the layer. So in the layer section where it says background, let's actually move this over and use a bit more of the space that's given us. My sort of base will probably be in the bottom corner of this. For that means this history bit I'm not really going to bother using too much. It's kind of like going backwards and forwards. I'll scale this image a little bit. We'll select all of the background by clicking on it, and then I'm going to hit the delete key, and oh yeah, I forgot to unlock the layer like a noob. There we go, and delete the layer. Yep. And then I think you can see a tiny bit of the shadow bit underneath this eraser. So I'm going to click there, and it's highlighted around that bit, and then I'm going to erase that as well. And then I'm going to do Control D, which is to deselect. And then I'm just going to zoom in a little bit because I'm not sure I got it all, or it's probably left something behind. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Can't really tell. Alright. Going to get the eraser on the eraser, which is sort of amusing. So this is the rubber tool. With Photoshop, and probably with this tool as well, if you hold down shift, if you click once and you hold down shift and you click again, you can basically rub out in a line. Obviously I don't want to rub right through my eraser. And I just want to basically make sure that I've cleaned up the bottom of this perfectly. So I'm going to click once here, and then I'm going to click another one over here. Oops, that's really crude. It's just to make this a little bit simpler, I'm going to give myself a sharp brush. So you can see in this brushes section, brushes, you can see the differences between different types of brushes. So I want one with a hard edge, and obviously a slightly smaller one. And I'm going to sort of click across this, if I can do it perfectly. Alright, and because like you can kind of click, so I just want to show you again on this. If I hold down, if I drag like that, you can see that it doesn't look so good. Whereas if I hold down Shift, I can click once, and then it snaps between where you click, yeah, which is really pretty awesome, right, for drawing straight lines. So you don't need a ruler in Photoshop; it does it for you. Alright, so just scale that out a little bit. So this is my eraser. I want to scale down my eraser, but I don't want to just scale it down without really understanding what resolution I want it to be. So firstly, I'm going to go back to my GameMaker, and I'm going to look at my objects that I'm trying to resize to. So our original paddles were 96 by 96 pixels, and I think that's like a full it's like 10%. It's like, I think that's 10% of the size of this, so we want to scale this down. The other thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this brand name on it. It's totally up to you, but I don't really want it on mine. So I'm going to use a combination of, I think I'm going to use a clone stamp tool. That's all that's on here. Or maybe this one. Let's have a go at this one quickly. Will that get rid of it? Nope, that was rubbish. Let's not do that. Alright, sometimes you have this this like spot heal tool in Photoshop, and it's pretty awesome, but obviously in this one it's not so good. Alright, I want to use this clone stamp tool. So this, it looks like a little stamp icon, and if you put your mouse over it, apparently the shortcut for it is S. So right, what you do with this is you control click. Okay, in Photoshop it's alt click, so this is control click. So you want to control click where you want to get your sample from. So my sample, I just want, actually I'll get my sample from over here. Right, and then you kind of paint on there. And as you see, as where I'm painting, it's kind of like got a brush on the opposite side tracking across. And if you go too far, then it would draw something else, like something else. So you want to just do it in like bursts sort of thing. So I want to paint over all this. So that's that bit erased. Amusingly, erasing something on the rubber is not without its irony. And just get rid of this as best you can, and without screwing everything up. Alright, I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to rubber out all of this stuff, and then I'm going to unpause it, and then you can see where I got up to. Make sure you don't grab anything from this section, because this is a slightly different shaded area. Okay, so pause. And then through the magic of time warp, I've erased all of the words on the rubber. It's up to you. You could potentially write your own like slogan or name or something on top of this. I'm not sure I can really be bothered, but you guys can do anything you want on it. Okay, so this is my first eraser template, and then what I want to do is I want to first of all get comfortable. Second of all, I want to hold down Control, and I want to click on the actual layer to select it. Is that going to work? Maybe I need the selection tool. There we go. It seems like there are other pixels there. Let's go actual size, that might be better. And then view, zoom out. Okay, right. Let's try that again. So I'm going to control, actually you can change the selection tool first of all. I'm going to go to control, click on the icon, and it selects it, and then I've only got a little bit of artifacts up there, which is fine. I'm going to should I transform it now, or should I move it then transform it? Yeah, actually, yeah, let's do that first of all. Let's copy this. So Control C or Edit Copy, and then I'm going to new file. I think new file. Yeah, new image. I'm going to set up my resolution directly. So let's quickly have a look at GameMaker. Check out my pads. 96 by 96. I'm going to make it slightly bigger than that, and then we can always scale it down if we need to. So I'm going to change my resolution. Can I change it to custom? Clipboard. Alright, maybe I can. Yeah, okay. Right, I'm going to do 128, 128, 128, enter. Transparent, yes please. Right, so it's nice and small. Then I'm going to paste it in there, so it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. And scale that up. Then on that layer, I'm going to transform it. So go to Edit, Transform, and grab the corner and scale it, and then obviously move it into the right position. Scale it a bit more. While scaling it, make sure you grab it on the corner and you hold down the Shift key. Apply that for now. And do that again. Transform. I just want to fit it in there as best as I can. Oh, wonderful. I think it's cut it off a little bit. Let's do that again. Try that again. Go away. V, paste. Edit, transform. Hold on Shift, scale it up, try and get it to fit on here as best you can. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of cut off either side, not cut off, I mean, we're obviously trying to use the entire size. Alright, so that's my eraser and it's in the right place and it's kind of looking pretty nice. So that's my first eraser for probably player 1. Then I'm going to duplicate it. So in order to duplicate it with a D, right click on it and do duplicate layer, and then you get a second one. So this is player 2 and this one's player 1. We're just doing them in the same file. If you need to change these in any way you can. Alright, on my player 2 I'm gonna do like a bit of a weird selection, I think. So I'm going to get the selection tool. Actually, let's try the lasso tool. So next to the selection box tool there's a lasso, and you click on that, and then on the toolbar it has freehand selection and it has polygon, and I want to use the polygon one because I want to select in a very specific way. Alright, on this I want to select roughly down the center of it. So from here I'm going to select a straight line, and then I get to this bit here where it gets a little bit darker, and then I'm going to just go off at a slight angle. Because the eraser kind of goes off at a slight angle like that. Then I'm going to click all the way around the outside, like into the empty space where there's nothing, and then back around to the top. And then you can see the selection method goes right across. And then with this selection I'm going to go to adjustments and hue and saturation, and what I want to do is I want to hue shift this section to a slightly different color. We'll see how this works out. If it looks a bit rubbish, we'll probably undo it. Maybe a blue. That's it. Blue looks good. And you can change the saturation however you want. That looks awesome. Okay. And then I'm going to inverse my selection, which basically means that you select everything that you haven't selected. And most of the stuff we haven't selected is just the rest of the eraser. So I'm going to go to, first of all I'm going to find it. I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go to invert selection. You can kind of see the dotted line going around the outside of the other place. And then on this side I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to go to hue and saturation. Let's drop the saturation down. That looks kind of cool. So desaturate it and then lighten it maybe. and then it might look like a blue and white eraser. And then if you click OK on that, and I can come off this, so Control D to deselect, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Alright, you can see this kind of got this little pinkish line down the middle, which is not too bad because it's not that noticeable. And it probably won't be that noticeable when you zoom to normal size, because I'm at 450 resolution size, so if I zoom to actual size, yeah, it looks kind of alright. And then if I turn that one off, I've got that one. So I've got two separate erasers. Maybe I should have drawn that line a little bit straighter, but doesn't matter too much. Okay, well, it doesn't matter too much to me. It's up to you. Right, so I've got two erasers, so they're my two players. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Save. And firstly, I'm going to save as the two output files that I want. So this is going to be to PNG, so it's got an alpha channel in there. If you save to, well, let's say you save to JPEG, it's not going to have the alpha channel. It's going to look kind of crappy in GameMaker. So this is going to be player 02. Okay, and save that, and then hide the layer, and then go to this one, and this one's going to be player 1. So save as, or save, sorry, player 1, and it's going to be, oops, let's do it to the right thing. So PNG, and save, wonderful. And then we're going to save the whole project that we've been working on. So save, and going to select PXD, which is their version of the Photoshop file, and do save, and then that should save in there as well. I did it to the one where we drew the board or the field or whatever you want to think of it. I did that one after I closed the video. I kind of forgot to tell you about it. Hopefully you would have figured that out, but if you didn't, then it's there. I probably will have a link to the files that I've made, so if you lost yours for whatever reason, you can open up mine and edit it however you want. So sorry about that. Okay, right, moving on. Let's go to get rid of this and this. We want to make the puck next, so you're going to go to Open Image, select the paper ball. This one should be slightly easier to do. Obviously this one's got a watermark on it, so let's just fix all this stuff first. Alright, let's duplicate this. So what's happening is, if I unlock this, what's actually happening is it's like selecting, when I do the magic wand tool, let's do that again, it's selecting half of this, and you can normally deselect this quite comfortably with in Photoshop, but for this one I think it's going to be a little bit more tricky. And obviously I don't want to delete half of the object because it will kind of look like this and look a bit rubbish, so I'm going to get rid of that. What I want to do is I'm going to change this so that I've got a duplicate version of this. So right click, duplicate, and then on my duplicate version I'm going to make it a lot darker so it's a little bit easier to select the part that I want to select. And this is kind of a trick that you can do in Photoshop as well. So I'm going to go to the adjustment section, and I'm going to go to levels. And then I'm going to move the levels to make the object basically a lot darker. And you can make it really dark. In fact, like, I may even keep it this way, to be honest, because it looks pretty badass. And then I select the outside part, and you can see that it's pretty much only selected the outside part. And then I'm going to hit delete, and it's going to get rid of all of that, except it's got the previous layer in there. Right, then I'm going to do Control D and erase out this watermark because I also don't want that. How can I select this? Let's do alright, Control D, eraser, and I'm going to rub this out carefully so I don't rub anything else out. Hopefully I've got everything. Let's try that again, select that, yeah. Alright, so if you hold down Shift and you click on the one that you've edited, like, I'm quite happy with that, like, that's fine for me. I select that and do Control C and then do File New, and then before I do my new one I just want to quickly check what size my puck was, or roughly what size my puck was. So 64 by 64, so I'm going to make this one slightly bigger to the resolution that our other thing was. So instead of 64 by 64 I'm going to do 9696 96 and transparent please, and OK, and then Control V, and it should paste in the puck that I've got. And I need to transform this, so I'm going to move this slightly into the screen a little bit more. Edit, free transform, and then grab the corner and scale down until it's roughly in the middle of the screen. I'm trying to resize it so it fits better. I should have probably been a bit more zoomed into this before I did it, but oh well. Let's hit enter, and just going to zoom in a bit. Alright, so it's going to be really pixelated, so it doesn't really matter too much because of the resolution anyway. Let's zoom out. I wish I could zoom out faster. Right, so there we go. I'm going to get the eraser and I'm just going to trim off this edge here because I want to make it a little bit more like it doesn't touch the edges and stuff. And I might trim this bit down a little bit here. Alright, so it's a little bit more easier to see. And I'm going to grab this bit here. Let's zoom out more. There we go. Alright, so I got my scrunched up ball, and maybe I'll just move it over. That might even be a little bit better idea. There we go. Right, so I got that bit, and then I'm probably going to lighten it up a little bit because I've made it probably a bit too dark from before. So adjustments, levels, and you got this. How much can I do this? Right, if you grab the middle one and shift it over a little bit, it lightens up the whole sort of mid-tones part of it, which is fine. Then the other thing I want to do is I want to kind of add like a little tint to it. So I'm going to select it by holding down Control and then click on my icon, adding a new layer. And then, like what we did with the sort of blurred out background, we're just going to add a color over the top. So go to the color tool here and select like a really sort of pale yellow. Okay, and then use the paint bucket tool to fill over the top of it. So it goes this color, which kind of looks wrong. So I'm going to do Control D to get rid of my selection. And then on this layer, I'm going to click on the sliders. And I'm going to change my blend mode to, let's try multiply first. Multiply, overlay, okay, yeah, multiply definitely. And then with the opacity, obviously I don't want it this strong, I just want it slightly yellowy color. You can kind of turn it on and off to see the difference, and I just want it this kind of like slight yellow color. Maybe a little bit less. There we go, wonderful. I'm happy with that, and I'm going to save it. File, save, and I'm going to call this puck, and it's going to be a PNG first of all. Save again, and then after that I'm going to save the actual source file. So file, save, and go to save again, PXD, and it's OK. Wonderful. Alright, and then this kind of concludes what I'm working on. What you can do inside of your GameMaker, if you want to, is open up your puck and do load sprite, and then grab your new puck, which mine's on my desktop somewhere through a million like folders, and grab my puck. Okay, and then that's my puck there. Remember to recenter your origins, so that one's done. And then if I just show you in game, it should have changed the puck that's actually in my game. So I've got my graphics here, and you can see in the background I've got this puck, and I can move it around. And I mean, my game's going to be broken, so I'm just going to quickly play test it. So hold on a second. Okay, so this is it resumed. Just move it back into position. Obviously, like the layout and the background doesn't quite match, so like it's not quite working in exactly the right way. But you can see as I've just put like the background in there, and I haven't really tuned anything up. You can sort of see that it already looks miles better, even though the layout's not better. I haven't fixed where the objects are, but you can see that the puck looks awesome already. And then if you put the erasers in, it will look also awesome. So In the next lesson, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup, and we're going to basically make our game a bit more competitive. And yeah, so this concludes this lesson. Thank you for paying attention and staying tuned in. I will be back soon.